Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC. Now today's piece of content has become the most requested piece of content that I've had in the last month or so, mainly because a lot of you have noticed me wearing this hoodie, and I've been getting a lot of people asking for this content sooner than later, even a few sexual favours that were kind of mentioned. Oh, and by the way, so Dave the Bear 69, I appreciate the gesture. However, that's not my cup of tea. However, I'm sure that there's an individual out there that will certainly enjoy that with you. But anyway, so I thought I would fast forward this so that we can have a look at the Prometheus Design Werx Beast Hoodie. Now, just to, I suppose, to clarify a little bit on that, there are a couple of versions of this. Now, as far as colours, there's a few different versions. But with this one, there is one with a full zip, and there is one without a zip. This is the one without a zip. This is the pullover version. They refer to it as the pullover version, or just the Beast Hoodie pullover. From what I can see, there's no difference between them, other than with this one, you pull it on over your head, and with the zip one, there is a full zip through the front. Now, before we start, as I usually do, I just want to clarify a few points about myself, my sizes, because I always get asked a lot about what size you should go for. I'm 5'10", I have a 48-inch chest, 36-inch waist, I'm around 16 stone, which is about 220 pounds. I checked the website, I looked at the measurements, and for me, I was almost in between a large and an extra large, but I decided to go for the extra large, and I'm glad that I did. I think if I'd have gone for the large, it would have been just a little bit too close to my skin, which for a mid-layer fleece like this, it's actually better to have it so that it's not baggy, but if you were in between a size, definitely go for the size up. Mainly because it's good to have that air flow in between you. What the fleece will do is it will help to trap in some of that air, and then it will heat that, similar to like how a wetsuit works. It allows some water in between you and the neoprene or whatever the material is, so that it helps as an insulation barrier. So the extra large for me, hopefully you'll all agree, fits just about right. Now, I've tested this with a few different things underneath. Today I'm simply just wearing a cotton t-shirt. I checked the temperature this morning, it said it was about 7 degrees and I'm toasty, put it that way. The last weekend when I was out filming, I had a cotton t-shirt and a shirt underneath this. It got down to about 3 degrees and again I was fine, absolutely no issues whatsoever. It's classed as a 3-season mid-layer. So you can wear this in the winter, which is certainly not a problem. As far as the heat that this generates, it is very, very warm, which we'll get into some of the materials in a second. But it is designed to be part of a 3-layer system. So if you wanted to go down to lower temperatures, sub-zero temperatures, for me, I'm a fairly warm-blooded person. I could probably wear just a t-shirt underneath this and still be fine. But if you were to wear a hard shell over this as part of a 3-layer system, then you can help to increase the heat and the heat retention from this. Now, I will say the heat retention on this is pretty freaking good. It reminds me, and I think this is, I'm going off on a bit of a tangent here, but it really does remind me, and this is one of the things that they mention, or at least Prometheus Design Werx mentions about this. It's designed to have a retro feel. The pile on this really does have a retro feel. It reminds me a lot like the original fleeces that I had back in the 80s because of the look and feel of the pile on this. Now it's actually called, oh, I forgot to mention, so taking a step back, because I'm just on a bit of a ramble here, but taking a step back, as far as the materials on this is concerned, this is the Prometheus Design Werx have gone with the global leader in fleece materials, and that is Polartec. The material that this is made from is their Shearling ThermaPro Retro. I had to think there for a second. This isn't the first time that I've had to do this. It's a bit of a mouthful. It's the Shearling Thermal Pro retro pile. And it does have a very retro feel to it. Now, what I'm saying about the retro feel to this is the way that fleeces have been, or at least the manufacturing processes of fleeces have been, has kind of advanced over the last 30 years. Is the pile or the shag, they've been able to create or make it so that it has a more of a uniform texture to this. The original fleeces, the way in which they were made, it wasn't as uniform, so instead you get this undulating, non-uniform kind of look and feel to it. It almost like where you have a fleece that you've owned for 5 or 6 years, and then you start to get bits of it napping together. The shag starts to nap together and kind of clump together. And that's what you get with this. It was designed specifically to mimic some of those original fleeces from the 70s that started to appear on kind of alpine slopes, that sort of stuff. And it does it really well. Genuinely, if you're of an age, if you're Gen Z, or you know you're kind of an early Xennial kind of thing, yeah, it's bizarre. You put this on and it's like a fleece that you've owned for 30 years, knowing the fact that it's not. I've had this for a few months now. So yes, very, very nice fleece on this, and it is incredibly warm. As far as colours are concerned, there are 4 different colours. There's black, green, tan and grey. I will have to triple check that, but I'm sure there's 4 different colours of this. This is the Wilderness Green version. I thought it went really nice, and I quite like greens. Greens and greys are my favourite colours. So the full fleece is made from this Thermal Pro retro material, all the way through the front, all the way through the back. It is a single layer of fleece. So if you're asking if it is a double pile, it isn't a double pile. It's classed, I guess it would be classed as a medium weight fleece, although although this one itself comes in at just, well, it's just under 600 grams. It's 595 grams, which is on the heavier side for a medium fleece. I don't mind that. I actually like it. I like the weight that it kind of adds. My nan always used to say, you know, if you pick something up and it feels heavy, it must be expensive, and you definitely get that with this. But it's just that extra weight that actually feels really nice when you're walking with this. Again though, it is rather warm, so you just have to make sure that you've got at least one layer underneath this. I suppose you couldn't have no layers underneath this and take it all off if you need to. Now, getting into the features of the hoodie itself, starting at the top, it is a hoodie and has a full hood. I shaved my head the other day, so it's kind of sticking to my head, and I'll probably have green bits on it for the rest of the day. But the hood goes all the way around. I will say that this is a good size. I generally tend to find that hoodies that come from the US, and this is made in the US, tend to have a larger head. And that's great because I've got a massive melon, but pulling the hood up is brilliant. There's no sort of pulls on this. You can't kind of pull it down around your face. It's more of just a casual style hood. The hood itself, hopefully you'll notice here, comes into the collar, so it doesn't have a collar, but it does have an extended front. So here is your neckline, and then there is kind of an extended brim on the neckline here, which I suppose you could call a collar. So when it sits on your face, it does come up a little bit closer to your chin, which is actually quite nice. But again, it's very hot and stops some of the air from coming out. Breathability wise, I know I've mentioned that this is very hot. Breathability wise, it is very breathable. So although I am hot, there is some fresh air moving through this, not too much that it will then reduce my core temperature, but just enough so that I'm not sweating too much whilst I'm in here. On the front, we don't have any buttons because this is the pullover version. Coming down through the chest, there's no pockets or anything here. It's a fairly simple chest. I will say that whilst walking with a rucksack on, using the sternum straps, not having any pockets here is great because you don't have to worry about buttons or zippers kind of getting caught on the straps or on the on the sternum strap, which is nice. But then instead, as far as storage is concerned, you then have 2 pockets here. Now, rather than being closer to your waist, they are a little bit higher up, which again, for if you're out walking with a backpack, you can still have a waist strap on here and still get full access to your pockets, which I think is very cleverly designed, which is something that you generally get from Prometheus Design Works anyway. They're a top tier for as far as I'm concerned. YKK zips on here, and then you have colour matching pulls on them. The pockets are very generously sized, and hopefully you'll be able to see. So here we have, there's the top seam, it comes down just here, and there is the bottom seam on here. The pockets are also, these are lined pockets, and it has this nice mesh in here. What I also like about these pockets is, now, whatever you see on this one is exactly the same on this one. It has this same feature in both of the pockets, but within here there is a lashing point with a ring on the end. So if you have something, maybe you're out orienteering and you want to check your orientation, you've got yours, you've got a compass in here, or maybe you have a tool in here that you want to use regularly but make sure is always attached to, so that you don't lose it down on the floor. You have these lashing points, which again are really nice. You then come down to the hem. Now, the hem isn't an adjustable hem, but for me it sits just about right. As I mentioned, I'm a 36-inch waist, and if I get this so that it just sits on me perfectly, I'd probably say that that's roughly a 36, 38-inch hem. It's not what am I trying to say here? It hasn't been stretched for my waist, but inside here you have some of this 4-way stretch nylon that's been used at the bottom, which just makes it feel really nice. If you're walking, if this rides up and it kind of rubs against your skin, no issues whatsoever. Now, the 4-way stretch material that's used here to hem the bottom here is also the same that's used on the hoodie on the front here, and then on the cuffs you also have the same material here as well. Now, getting back to the sleeves, so the sleeves have a reasonably high shoulder on here, which is where the seam is. You then come down, and on the left hand side here there is a bicep pocket. Now, the bicep pocket on this, it's not too big. However, things like a wallet, you know, that fits in there, no issues whatsoever. Zip it up and you're done. YKK zip, and then you also have a colour matched zip pull on there as well. I've seen larger bicep pockets, I've seen smaller bicep pockets, you know, it's just about average. It's very rare that I use those anyway. Then on the opposite side, on my right arm here, rather than a bicep pocket, we have a hook and loop section so that you can put morale patches on there if you like. Coming down the arms then, there are no additional pockets, there are no wrist pockets or anything like that on here. For the type of fleece that it is, I don't think that it really needs those. You don't end up over encumbered through the arms. On the rear though, you do have some additional nylon on here, which I will say is very nice. I think having that additional support on your elbows will certainly help to stop some of the wearing on the fleece. What you will find with some styles of fleeces, I just had a small piece of leaf just land on my head then. What you will find with, so after a while, that you do get some thinning on the elbows, which is just how fleeces work. But having the nylon on here with this 4-way stretch will certainly help that. Apart from out walking with this, I've been wearing this whilst at home because the temperatures are dropping. Instead of putting the central heating on, I'll just put this on, and it's been great having this additional support whilst I'm working on the desk, just on the edge of the desk. I don't know why, but I always seem to try and rub my elbow on the edge of the desk. But just that extra support whilst wearing this indoors is, yeah, certainly appreciated. Lastly, coming down onto the cuffs, as I mentioned, you have that four-way stretch on here, which makes it really nice against your wrists. So I have a 7.5 inch wrist. It isn't completely closed around my wrist. I can easily get another 4 fingers in there, which is nice. So if you do want to wear this with gloves in the winter, then you shouldn't have any issues wearing it with your gloves. But also, if you quickly need to check the time, you don't have to rake it over your wristwatch to be able to check the time. You can just pull it back, pull it on your forearm here, or just at the cuff, check the time, and then yeah, you're good. Additional thing that I do like, Mrs. Moorlander has been wearing this, which I don't like because she gets booby marks in it, but what she particularly likes is the fact that you do have thumb holes here on the sleeve. So again, if you're wanting to make sure, if you're doing lots of activities and you don't want this to ride up around your wrists, then you can put your thumbs through there just to make sure everything stays nice and secure. Now, one of the things that I will say about this type of fleece is there's almost a bit of a bedding in period for it, which seems strange to talk about fleeces, but because of the retro style to this, it is very fluffy, like you get with a lot of fleeces. So hopefully you can see here, and I'm not putting a lot of pressure on this whatsoever, but you do get quite a bit of the pile coming off. So what you will find, especially here on the wrist, the piling or the bobbling that's happening here isn't actually bobbling from the nylon, that four-way stretch nylon. The bobbling that's on here is this just me naturally walking around and this rubbing whilst it's on here. And you will get that. What you'll find is after a month or so, that bobbling will decrease. So this is a lot less than it was. But again, it's not actually the nylon here on the cuffs that's bobbling. It's just picking up the new pile that's on here. But after a while, you'll notice that will disappear, and you know it just feels like a normal pile. Or at least a normal kind of retro style pile. That rhymed. So there you go. Had to take a big breath there. I really like this. I do really like this, which is why you've seen me wearing it quite a lot recently. There's just, it's that old pair of pants feel. You know, you've got that old pair of jeans that you keep in the corner that sometimes you put on, sometimes you don't, but when you do, you're like, oh, I realise why I like these jeans so much. It feels like it's a top that I've owned for the last 20 years, so that when I put it on, I'm just like, oh, let's go and shoot some content in the woods kind of thing. I think a lot of that does come down to the feel of the fleece and the, I mean, it's called the Thermal Pro Retro, which makes absolute sense because it really does feel like a fleece that I've owned for a long time, which is always nice to put something on and just kind of just feel chilled and relaxed, and also really warm. Did I mention that this is really warm? It is really warm. So there you go. I hope this helps. From the amount of people asking about this, I thought that maybe I should bump it up the line so that you can get to see a little bit more about this. Now I do want to say, I did mention this at the beginning, I do want to say a huge thank you to Henny Haynes. Henny Haynes did send this out to me. I've worked with Henny Haynes for a while now. I mean, everybody hopefully should know in the UK who Henny Haynes are, but just in case there are a few people who don't, Henny Haynes and EDC go together like, I tried to think of something funny about this last time, but I couldn't think. They go together really well. You know what I mean, like pie and custard. Anyway, they go together. So they are from the south of Wales and are the largest EDC website here in the UK. But it's not just EDC items. They do knives and wallets and all of those kind of EDC sort of stuff. But they also do a lot of additional things like jackets, fleeces, bags, all of those additional kind of off-body sort of things that are around EDC. And yes, you should definitely check those out. my dad's Welsh and I love the Welsh, so, you know. Hey, everybody loves the Welsh. So yes, a huge thank you to Henny Haynes. I'll leave all of their links below so that you can see more from them. I'll leave some of my social media links as well so that you can see more from me here on Moorlander EDC and my sister channel Moorlander Tactical. And whether you're watching this on YouTube or Rumble, as always, stay safe, stay Moorlander and stay EDC. Let's see if I can remember this. Polartec Shearling Thermal Pro Retro Pile. Jesus, that's a mouthful. Okay. And yes, some of those have been really nice. I do want to say thank you to Jenny Minx 48. The photos that you've been sending me are lovely. I won't show them to Mrs. Moorlander, but because of that, this is why we're seeing this content today, and I thought we would have. Hi, I'm the Moorlander, and this is my itchy neck. But I think at this point, I do want to say a huge thank you to Tippy Toe Rachel for some of the foot photos that you've been sending me. Not my kind of thing. However, I'm sure there are plenty of websites that they would be useful for. But I thought it would be useful to fast forward materials, and that's Polartec. The type of material that this is made from, this is a I'm hoping I'm going to get this right. This is the Shearling Thermal Light. I'm going to have to do that whole bit again, aren't I? Thermal Pro, I got it right. Thermal what? Thermal Pro. Polartec Shearling Thermal Pro. Damn it! Let's do that bit again. Hi, I'm the Moorlander and I'm lovely and toasty. Things maybe not so much, although I want to say thank you to Michael Stallion. Some of those photos, I mean, damn. Anyway, but not my kind of thing, but moving on, I thought it'd be useful that we could have a closer look. There's a hole in the trees there, shines in my face. Now I do know when this is coming out. I think this is coming out on the Sunday. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's coming out on the Sunday because I'm here today filming this so that it can come out on Sunday. Yeah, I hope you've all previously had a great week, and I also hope moving forward that you all have a great and productive week, whatever it is that you're doing, wherever you are in the world. And yes, Mike Stallion, stop sending me the photos, please. Anyway, see you in a bit.